Hello everyone, my name is Julia and welcome to my channel. Today's video is all about various DIY materials and sensory activities you can make just with popsicle sticks. If you are new here, I would love for you to subscribe and drop a comment on anything you'd like to see next. My goal is to make Montessori at home clear, accessible, and practical for you, and I do truly want to help. My first example is a simple popsicle stick puzzle. For this, you will need any size plain popsicle sticks and something to color with. Do bear in mind, I am trying to stick as wholesomely as possible to just popsicle sticks. If there are any other materials needed, there are things like paper, glue, random recyclables found around the house, which you can easily adapt based on what's lying around your house. Anyway, this one's super easy. You can make any sort of geometric design. You can even make animals if you'd like. Making geometric puzzles, though, is a great way to work on spatial awareness, precision work, color coordination, and problem-solving skills. You can also turn popsicle sticks into specific puzzles to work on number recognition, and I encourage you to explore different progressions of this, including multiple numbers in a set or using puzzles to form sequences, etc., etc. Have at her. The next material that I'm making is an elementary level material based on what is called the addition strip board. And this is basically a material which works on addition facts to 10 and also recognizing the pattern in adding two numbers together all the way up till 9. So the board goes until 18. What I'm doing here is I've just got a piece of cardboard, paper, and I'm just drawing out all the lines to mimic what the Montessori material actually looks like. Please bear in mind that this is not perfect, and I'm making all these materials for the purpose of this video. I would never actually present this to a child of mine, as in my artistic eye, it's still a bit flawed. But I think it is important to, mention to you guys that nothing is perfect, and if you're making stuff with things from home, this is sometimes the way it is. So for this one, you will need to do a bit more writing and to lay out all those numbers. And then simply with the popsicle sticks, you're going to mimic the actual strips that go on. So I've measured out that the popsicle sticks go all the way up to the 10 centimeters. You will notice a little bit later, again, they aren't perfect, which frustrated me. However, again, I'm not presenting this to a child, and I trust that you guys will be able to measure this a little bit more accurately if this is what you are doing. But this is how the material goes. So imagine that each popsicle stick is numbers 1 to 10. You would cut each popsicle stick in increasing and decreasing pyramids of alternating colors. So the Montessori material is blue and red, and that's what I'm using here as well. And after measuring each of the units out, you label them and color them and cut them out, and then you can have them on hand to work on your child's addition facts. There's also a subtraction strip board too if you're wanting to work on subtraction as well. This next material is more of a language material, and I'm using the smaller popsicle sticks. As you'll see in a second, it is easier to cut them. So for this, all I'm doing is I'm gonna create a little grid sheet here. Of course, if you have grid paper, that would make it easier. Then I've simply made some capital letters on various pieces of cardboard, and the idea is that you would then recreate those letters with the popsicle sticks at hand. I would recommend using capital letters for this activity, as I think the lowercase letters are a bit too rounded too often for this to work. But you'll see I've given an example of a more rounded capital letter such as P, and it is possible to recreate that for sure. And this is just a fun one. Children love making letters. This is also quite seamless. There's no mess involved. There's no cleaning up, really. It's just a simple material that can be put out on a shelf for the child to practice. This next activity is a posting activity slash fine motor skills, more for the toddler age group. I found this random chocolate milk bottle in the recycling in the house, and I decorated it briefly with a ribbon. You take the X-Acto knife and you just simply put a hole in the top and whatever size popsicle sticks you have. I do like this one simply because of the lid purposes. So if you do, first of all, I do recommend finding something that's plastic for this. So anything with a metal lid, it'll just be too hard to cut, and you do have to work a little bit more to, you know, sand down those edges so they're not so sharp. But this one was super simple. Isaac is already playing with this one on the shelf. I have already put this out for him and he is loving it. Part of the challenge that he's really loving is putting the lid on and off. And so you can actually pop it on and push it down, as you can see he is here doing. And he's also trying to figure out how to twist the lid on as well. But this is a really simple activity. It works on fine motor skills, on problem solving, because the popsicle sticks can only go in one way. And it has been a good success. This next DIY activity is making an analog clock and using the popsicle sticks as the hands. Now I'm going to show you a super basic version, but feel free, of course, to add in any sort of Velcro or other maneuverable materials that you have lying around. This is, of course, an elementary aged material. Usually in around grade 2 is when children start learning about how to tell time, and so this is a really simple material to have on at hand to use for a variety of purposes. Simply cut out a circle with some sort of tracer and glue it onto the cardboard. Then, in order to make the popsicle stick hands, I took a thick popsicle stick and I took a thin popsicle stick, and I just cut arrow-like tips off of the end of them, and I have measured them to make sure that they went to their respective lengths as well. I kind of went for a walk around the house at this point and found something that you use to hang up paintings. So I decided to try that out and stick it in the middle, which worked fine until I tried to then cut a hole into the popsicle sticks. As you see, they ended up being a little bit cracked. So while this ended up being a workable clock, it again was not the most aesthetically pleasing, and so I would try and find some sort of pin, I think, or even like a nail to hammer in so that they can rotate, but this will do for the purposes of this. I also color coded the hour numbers versus the minute numbers. So the hours, of course, go by 1 and the minutes go by 5. When you're introducing this to your child, you want to introduce each hand separately. This is the hour, and count all the way till 12. And then these are the minutes. And then as your child gets more advanced and more capable, you can take out the labels for the minutes and maybe just have the quarter hours showing, and then eventually maybe having nothing showing as well. So I've just made easy little labels that you can then put out if you're presenting this, or if your child needs the 5-minute markers. You can, of course, make individual markers for each of the minutes themselves as well. That is up to you. Again, wherever your child's level will be at, or however you want to increase the level of mastery and or complexity, that's up to you. But this was a really neat DIY elementary activity. And the final activity I will be showing you today is using the colored popsicle sticks. That one's so cracked. Oh well, it shouldn't be fine. So I just drew out some fruits that would have the same color. Yes, I drew those all by myself. But you can choose any theme you'd like. And in the end, they are all colored pretty close to what the popsicle stick was. So then I found some clothespins that we're not using anymore because it's raining. And with a little piece of tape, I will just tape on each of the fruit pieces to each of the clothespins. And then to set up the activity for your child, I would recommend putting the popsicle sticks in some sort of container and then take them out, lay them down, mix them around, and try to match them up. Now, an easy way that you can start this is to only introduce 3 colors at a time, and then of course move on to the rest of the colors. Additionally, to make a progression on this, you can add a couple more objects of each color. You can use the same theme or a different theme, but the end result is pretty satisfying. That's all for today, folks. Thanks so much for watching. Stay safe, stay sane, and I'll catch you next time.